Welcome to the Foundry by Forge College. Today, we're fixing one of the absolute biggest headaches in all of Web3, needing gas just to recover an unfunded wallet. I mean, think about it. It's literally like finally finding the keys to your absolute dream car. You jump into the driver's seat, turn the ignition, and nothing. You're completely out of gas. It's a terrible user experience and honestly a bit embarrassing for the space. But in this explainer, we're going to fix it for good.
Here's a quick look at our blueprint for today. We'll start with the gas UX problem, define what gas abstraction actually is, introduce the toll booth courier and receipt model, cover some core techniques, and then finally, map out gasless onboarding design.
All right, let's dive into section 1, the gas UX problem.
Now, if you think back to our previous lesson on designing recovery modes, you know we're often dealing with two very different realities. On one hand, you've got the standard bureaucratic nightmare. A user loses their device, initiates a social recovery process, but then the network just hits them with a brick wall, forcing them to fund a completely empty wallet with native tokens just to prove who they are. It's blocked, it's confusing, it's awful. But on the other hand, we have this beautifully smooth, user-centric flow, where the user simply signs a clear message of intent and the action just happens seamlessly. This smooth flow, that's the promised land we're building towards today.
Moving on to section 2. What is gas abstraction?
So in the simplest terms possible, gas abstraction is basically a collection of engineering patterns that hack the default flow. Instead of forcing the end user to deposit native tokens and pay out of pocket for every single little click, abstraction lets us shift three major levers: who supplies the transaction data, who actually pays the fee at submission, and when you, the user, even have to think about it. But, here is the primary engineering challenge. How do we abstract a gas and remove all that annoying friction without actually hiding the truth? We want the experience to feel totally magical, for sure, but we're still dealing with cryptography and self-custody here. The underlying mechanics absolutely must remain entirely auditable and transparent to the user. We can't just sweep the blockchain under the rug and call it a day. Which brings us to section 3, toll booth, courier, and receipt. To solve this whole transparency issue, we're going to use a super intuitive mental model. We call it the toll booth, courier, and receipt model. Just think of an on-chain transaction like sending a package across a toll bridge. First up, the toll booth. This represents who ultimately pays for network passage. Is the driver paying, or is some sponsor graciously covering the toll? Next, we have the courier. This is the relayer or bundler, literally the delivery service physically carrying the user's signed intent to the blockchain. And finally, the receipt. This is your post-transaction evidence. It proves what happened, who paid, and that the package actually arrived safely. By breaking down all this complex cryptography into these three simple roles, we can perfectly map abstract technical choices to concrete UX responsibilities. Now listen closely, because here is your golden engineering rule for the day. Never, ever completely hide the toll booth. Even if a gracious sponsor, like a dApp developer, is paying the toll for you, your interface has to tell the user. Otherwise, they're going to sit there wondering, wait, who's paying for this? What's the catch? People get highly suspicious when things in crypto are suddenly inexplicably free. Trust me on that.
All right, section 4, core abstraction techniques.
So picking the right tool for the job really just comes down to understanding UX tradeoffs. We basically have 4 primary mechanisms in our toolkit: meta transactions, paymasters, bundling, and session keys. Each one manipulates our toll booth and courier in slightly different but really important ways. First up, we've got meta transactions and paymasters. With a meta transaction, our courier, the relayer, takes the user's intent, submits it to the chain, and pays the gas. Simple enough. Then we have paymasters. These act as automated toll booths that cover fees based on highly specific policies. The massive UX impact here? It enables true, beautiful gasless onboarding. But it creates an absolute design obligation for us. If a user only gets, say, 5 free transactions a day, your UI must make that limit crystal clear. No surprises. Alternatively, we can use bundling and session keys. Bundling is kind of like a cartpool for transactions. Our courier gathers a bunch of intents and submits them as one big batch. This is great because it lowers the per-user cost. The trade-off? Well, it makes error reporting and latency much more complex to actually display to the user. Then, moving over to session keys, these let you create temporary delegated keys to dramatically reduce signing fatigue. They are absolutely perfect for gaming or high-frequency apps. But again, you must demand clear visual boundaries in your UI so the user knows exactly what these temporary keys are actually allowed to do.
Let's move to section 5, gasless onboarding design.
So let's take all these raw materials and put them into a 5-step sequence that perfectly balances friction reduction with the transparency needed to keep users fully informed. It goes like this: intent capture, ephemeral delegation, relayer submission, receipt and disclosure, and finally, a post-onboarding transition. Let's see how this actually works in practice. Steps 1 and 2 are all about intent and delegation. You capture a lightweight signature and clearly display the estimated gas policy, showing the toll booth at work right away. By allowing short-lived, ephemeral delegations via session keys, funding just becomes a back-end problem. The user doesn't even see it. However, you must give the user a simple, highly accessible UI to revoke those delegations instantly. In Web3, agency is everything, right? Next up, submission and receipts. Now, when the courier is out delivering the transaction, never ever fake immediate success. Blockchains take time. Don't pretend the microwave dinner is a home-cooked meal, Show a clear queued state and expected latency. And once it's finalized, follow up with a highly detailed receipt that includes the on-chain hash and sponsorship terms. You have to prove the action was real, secure, and fully verifiable. And that brings us to step 5, the transition. A well-engineered blueprint always includes a fallback plan. Sponsorships just don't last forever. Your interface absolutely must guide the user to a predictable, self-funded state once their temporary onboarding sponsorship lapses. Don't just hit them with an unexpected, scary error message out of nowhere. Smoothly transition them to adding their own gas funds. This ties into a crucial quote directly from our course materials. Recovery flows and user trust are fragile. Ensure every abstracted gas interaction still leaves a clear, inspectable trail. This is the most important rule of the day. If you mask sponsorships without leaving a receipt, users will not be able to audit their own recovery transactions when things go wrong, and in the world of self-custody, auditability is completely non-negotiable.
Let's wrap things up with Section 6, Summary and Next Steps.
So let's zoom out. Gas abstraction is ultimately your best design lever for fundamentally changing the fee burden. Always rely on that toll booth, courier, and receipt model to keep things auditable, and carefully map your technical choices to clear UX responsibilities. Finally, minimize friction, absolutely, but never at the expense of a user's ability to inspect and revoke their own data. But hang on, what happens when the courier gets a flat tire? Or the toll booth just breaks down entirely? Well, that leads us perfectly into our very next lesson in this track, mechanics of gasless transactions and sponsorship models. In that explainer, we're going to get our hands dirty, dive deep into the actual code-level entry point contracts, and see exactly how these systems handle real-world failure conditions. Look, if we really want 1 billion users in Web3, we can't just hand them a car with an empty gas tank. Are you ready to build experiences that feel like pure magic, but are securely backed by math? Thanks so much for joining this explainer. To explore more advanced Web3 concepts and really dive deeper into this track, make sure you visit forge.college. We'll see you next time.